Good to be with you. Another segment of Grizzly Connect is upon us. Bryant Johnson with Lexy Hamilton, sophomore, ASC, women's lacrosse. First year is over. Transition year, which everybody hates. I know you don't, but it's hard. New players, new roster, new sport, new travel schedule. Finally, there's some familiarity with this year's roster. How much more comfortable do you and your teammates feel heading into this season?
Oh, way more comfortable. We're ready for the season. We know our competition. We know what we're good at. We know what we need to work on. So we're done learning all the names. Now we can just connect.
It is such a close-knit team. You and your teammate Grizzly Michael had a chance to go back to her hometown over the summer. You were in Seattle, and you were discussing this with me in April, how much you were looking forward to going out there and participating in a sport that you were just becoming familiar with some athletes and some talented individuals in the Pacific Northwest who've been playing lacrosse for a little bit longer. Just the experience of going out there over the summer and playing lacrosse with some more experienced individuals. What was that experience like?
It was great. I actually grew as a player. I can dodge now, and left hand's working, and it was just a learning experience, and I hope I get to go back this summer and grow more.
Of course, you returned and immediately had the chance to let your teammates know that this is year-round for you. You take lacrosse seriously. It's something that you're really a big fan of, and they responded. They nominated you and voted you as the captain for the 2012 squad. When you have the leadership as an underclassman, but the respect of your teammates, how much easier is it to know that they are listening to you?
It makes life a lot easier. Knowing that I don't know the game as well as more experienced players on the team, it's kind of a role for them to take over too. But I'm just the one that is like, okay, let's warm up, let's go to the weight room, let's hit the wall. It's a lot easier knowing that they trust me just as much as I trust them.
Lexy Hamilton with the ASC women's lacrosse team from the Valley, went to Monte Vista, and trying to sell this to the Valley. It's becoming something that you're quite familiar with. Of course, the area isn't too familiar with lacrosse from a high school or even an amateur standpoint. So when you're back at home, letting people know this is going to be 4 years for you, you're all about the sport. So what is the common reaction?
The common reaction is like, what is lacrosse? What do you do? What is it? The lacrosse teams are actually trying to involve the community by putting together after practice get-togethers where we bring in kids from Alamosa and we let them play. We give them stick work. I actually have 3 brothers that actually come and play with us, and they're bringing that into the Sargent area. So it's just been a great thing for the Valley. They need to get into it. It's a great sport, and it's one more thing to keep kids off of everything else, so might as well do sports.
You're a constant ambassador for the sport, which is something that other athletes don't have to do. I mean, everybody knows what basketball and football consist of. You're an athlete first and foremost. You don't have to sell the sport. Right. When you're a captain as a sophomore of an up-and-coming sport, one that people aren't familiar with, how do you embrace the role of being an ambassador for the game?
I embrace it by, I guess, just trying to get as many people involved with it as possible. We have girls around campus that have played before, and just trying to get them to join the team is a big thing. And then just letting everyone know that lacrosse is a great sport, and it's one that should be known because it is growing. It's everywhere now.
You're a month away from the season opener. You have a bit of a different schedule this year. I mean, last year was, okay, get familiar with the travel aspect of it. Coach took you to Florida to Winter Park for some non-conference events, and even taking on some of the talent that you witnessed in Florida. It was just a great eye-opener of what some seasoned schools have done for even pregame warm-ups, and it was really a learning experience just to see how those teams embrace the game. Just looking at what you've learned from last year and how you're applying it to this season, what are some of the lessons learned?
One of our biggest faults was defense. We weren't really sure. A lot of us weren't really sure how to play the defense role, but watching teams like Lindenwood and the Florida team we played, they were just awesome at defense, and that was their main goal. It was defend, defend, defend. It wasn't score, score, score. So, yeah, just defense is going to be a huge thing for us, and we're going to be a lot better at it.
The travel schedule is so unique because you're participating and trying to get into the Western Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association and playing in St. Louis against Lindenwood and teams in Northern California at Dominican and San Rafael. It's a wild conference. Just preparing for the travel aspect of it, it's so different. What is one way to let some of these new players, which is limited, you have about 90% of your roster back from last year, but some of those new players that are just used to club games in high school and preparing for this travel schedule, how do you go about it and letting them know what is going to take place over the next few months?
I guess just letting them know that there are tough schools out there, and we do play, I think, one of the toughest leagues because we're all so competitive, and just letting them know that this is going to be a better season for us, but just bringing what they can to the table is going to help us no matter what, and just knowing that we're there as a team is going to help the travel aspect. I don't think we're truly worried about it. One of our biggest competitors is Mesa, and that's just, we're going after them this year. It's going to be good.
You mentioned there was an upcoming recruit who was quite upfront and honest with you that one other school she is considering attending is Mesa. When you hear that it's down to you and your biggest rival, now trying to get that last pitch and sell her on Adams State, what do you say?
We're a team. We know what we have to offer. All the girls are super close, and she got to firsthand witness that. We all hung out. We all went out and had dinner and a movie, and just trying to convince her that not necessarily the lacrosse team is good for her, but maybe that the school is really good for her. That's what we need to convince her on. She knows that she can fit into the lacrosse team. We already established that, but we got to convince her that Adams State is the right school for her.
All right, Captain. It seems like you're up to the challenge. Good luck this season. Thanks for chatting with us, Lexy.
Thank you.
Lexy Hamilton with the ASC women's lacrosse team. We'll chat with